Good day. Today I'm going to show you how I make my police welly cosplay from We Happy Few. I went to Comic Con, New York Comic Con, uh, for all 4 days as the police guy from We Happy Few with one of my buddies, and it went extremely well. I've never been complimented so much on a cosplay, and it was awesome. So I'm going to show you guys how to make this. The real quick though, cool thing about cosplays or just dressing up, you can always add your own touch. You don't have to do anything exact. Make it yours, and just take tips that can be helpful, but don't think that you have to follow any kind of rules. And that's one of the beauties of cosplays is everyone has their own interpretation. Everyone has their own little thing they want to add or touch. Um, I'm a more simple person. I like to just try to be accurate. I'm also, kind of cheap, so I did this. The entire cosplay, including the costume and everything, was it was probably nearing $100. I'll try to do the math and see if I can get an exact amount in the description of the video. But it was definitely under 100, I want to say. Um, I definitely did it a cheaper way. But anyway, let's get this started. So, first thing we've got some wolf white face paint here. You need a sponge. You can go buy these sponges. Don't get like a cheap crap sponge. I mean, they're not going to be expensive, but like don't get like some cheap quality sponge. Get it's I'll see if I can get this closer. So it's just a circular sponge, and you cut off the side, and then you've got this. And so this is the side I always used to apply, is this flat end right here. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get this. I got it a little damp, not extremely, but you gotta get it a little damp so that it can get it, all the white paint on it. When it comes to this stuff, I want to say definitely less is more. If you need to apply stuff later, apply more layers, but you don't want to get this too wet. You don't want to just overdo it because then it will just drip and stuff. So right here, it's on there. As you can see, like it's not dripping or anything. It's lightly on there, but I did get a good amount on there. And watch this beauty. I don't know if this camera's gonna show it, but let's see if I can do this here. So in that short amount of time, what I did, I applied a good amount of pressure. I didn't let it just I didn't lightly do it. I pushed it all the way down, made a nice solid stroke. And I mean, you can kind of see it in this camera. I got a pretty good amount. So this is my general outline. I always like to start with this first. Um, it's not bad at all. I'm gonna do touch-ups and stuff to make sure there's like less skin showing and stuff. But as you can see, very smooth. I absolutely love it like that. So then we want to just keep doing that. And so for now, what we're doing is strokes. We're doing these little strokes here. It's just simple, easy way to cover a good amount of the area. So I want to keep doing that. All right, and so I've started getting away. I need to dampen my sponge a little bit. It's gotten a little too dry. Um, so as you can see with my lips, I kind of tuck them in there, so that you don't paint them. You can paint them if you want. Honestly, it's not a big deal. I don't think anything's really toxic, but I used white lipstick, which I'll show later. Actually, I don't know where that is. But I used white lipstick, and that worked well. It looked exactly like the paint, same shade and everything, so you really couldn't even tell a difference. Um, but yeah, so now I'm going to reapply this, and this one is a bit wetter, and so let's get that. So now it's like really white. And I'll say all in all, let's see, if I did Comic Con for 4 days, I may have tried this with different materials and different things about 3 times ahead of time. So it's not like I've even been doing this for years or anything. I've done this less than 10 times. And I like to cover my eyebrows. Some people might not want to, but I like that look a lot better. I have tried it without covering my eyebrows, and I don't like that look. So now I'm just trying to touch up a little bit here. So there we go. Actually, this is a little too wet. And so I want to do that. And now you see, you can see that, you can see where it was too wet, and it kind of just like right around here on my chin, and right here, like the shading is not right. It's not a solid kind of shading. So now I'm gonna dab really fast, just a little dab. But this dabbing motion, in my opinion, is what you want to do. That way you don't have any kind of streak looks. No, you don't see any streaks. It gives it a good texture. All right, and just like that, here we are, less than 7 minutes in, and I'm pretty much already done with my face. Obviously, I've got more to do, outlines and stuff, but the white is pretty much all done. You know, there might be some new touch-ups I'm gonna do, but that was, nice, simple, quick, and I love that. Especially, with Comic-Con, I'm waking up at like 5 or 6 in the morning. I don't want to have to spend an hour doing my face every day before the convention. So I wanted it to be quick. So now I'm going to get my black, and just so you can see here, again, using the Wolf makeup face paint. So there's the white, here's the black. Each one cost me about $7-8 probably. And I've got a little paintbrush. This one I just got like a pack a few years ago from like Walmart, and I actually never even like used them. So it was a cheap paintbrush. I don't need anything fancy. The important parts for me for this paintbrush, let's see if I can show you there. So it's small. It's pretty solid. It's not like, I don't know paintbrushes. It's kind of flat there, so it's got some width to it. I don't want it to be like needle thin. So now this is wet a little bit, and again, it's not too wet. If you need to add more water, but it's a lot easier to add water than it is to try to dry things off. Without, you don't want to be too wasteful. Because, like, again, so I've done Comic-Con. I did all 4 days. I've used this at least 5 or 6 times now. Look how much is left. Like, do you see that? Like, it hasn't even been touched almost. The face paint, on the other hand, I mean, that also, I've gotten a good amount from, and one of my buddies, actually, he started using that face paint too. So that face paint has been used probably for about, that might be close to like 10 faces, including my buddies. But okay, so now I've got, I just kind of want it slow. Well, that should be fine. So now I've got this with black, and it doesn't take nearly that long to make it black. I'm just rambling. But watch this, nice. Again, just like with the face paint, I love this beauty if this works. All right, yeah. See, I did mess that up. I did not add enough water, but again, it's not hard. But look, nice, solid black, easy line. For some people, it's not that easy to do this by yourself. I mean, I say just practice a little bit because it's not that hard. Just have confidence in yourself and try it out. Don't be afraid to practice. because my buddy did not practice much because he thought it wasn't that important, I guess. Um, and he was always a pain to deal with in the morning because he needed help with everything. And look at that. So I completely messed that up. Totally messed that up. I went way out of line. It happens. So what I want to do, I want to just kind of wash that away. And one of the cool things about, if I have to wash something away, if it leaves a little black residue, that's fine because then it just looks a little bit dirt, looks a little bit more textured. And for this particular cosplay, for this particular kind of cosplay, it works well. Mistakes can happen, and it will look like it's part of the cosplay because that's kind of the thing with the We Happy Few. It's got that look. So let's not mess this up. I'm tired of I'm talking so much that I keep letting this paintbrush dry, and that's what's messing me up. So I've got it nice and wet, and so I'll show you. Like, it's not dripping wet, but it's wet enough that I can see that I'm getting a good layer of paint on brush. Well, I will say, because I'm trying to rush just because I have so much I have to get done today, I'm not doing nearly as good of a job as I did at Comic-Con. As you can see there, I am missing my mark. But again, if you do that, don't panic, just wipe it off, or improvise. So what I'm going to do, just because I'm not trying to take too much time here, I'm going to improvise. I'm going to take a little brush and I'm going to fill in the white. And I'm going to make it hit that black. Although that looks awful right there. If I were actually doing a convention or anything, I would never have this thing where it's like double layered black. I would definitely recommend fixing that because that looks awful to me. But look at that. So we're less than 15 minutes in, and if I wasn't talking, this could easily be like a 10-minute video by now. And all that's left is basically some touch-ups and the circles around my eyes. So this part's gonna be a pain. So what I used, I absolutely love this Maybelline New York Eye Studio. I've never. By the way, I'm not like a makeup person. I've never like used makeup before this cosplay, so all of this was new to me. So like, I don't want anyone to be afraid that they've never done this before. This is an easy place to start if you want to do a cosplay. I've never had this makeup. I've never tried it. I just talked to some people, and this is what I got recommended. Also, I used a video on YouTube, which I'm going to put a link to that video in my description because that was a very, very helpful video. But so, let's see if I can show you. Again, I've used this, every time for cosplay, and very little bit of it actually gets used. So like, this stuff can last you because you shouldn't be using too much. So this is like eyeliner, I guess. And the part that I'm gonna hate is the fact that what I have, this is like waterproof eyeliner. So I got work later today, and hopefully I'll be able to get enough of it off. I don't have any kind of makeup remover. Um, I absolutely love this though because, especially for a multiple day con, the stuff that didn't get removed, I felt helped darken my eyes each day and helped keep it dark. So I actually liked the fact that it was hard to remove this from like a simple shower. But all right, let me get going so I can stop rambling. Again, just because I'm in a hurry, I'm doing this. I'd recommend touch up your eye a little bit, make it a little bit more circular. Like this little thing in the corner here, I would kind of wipe that away a little bit, make it more even. But I'm not going to bother with that today. But you just get close. And then what I like to do to get a solid look, I kind of dabbed around. And then I connected it all. And that helped it from fading too much towards the end or being too dark in the beginning. Helped keep it even. But there you go. We got that underline, and if you want, it can make it fatter. Depending on how you want to do this, I liked to have a little bit fatter of a line to help really show. Some people might want a very thin line around the eyes. And I did try doing this before with the black liner I did around this. I did not like that look. I needed a dark brown eyeliner. At first I did try the black just to see what it would look like. And the black paint that I use around this does not go well around your eyes. It doesn't look right. It really cheapens the whole cosplay. My buddy had something he used for his line and his eyes. His face, in my opinion, looked very different. Well, I mean, not even my opinion. It looked very different than mine when you look at the details of it. He liked that look more. He thought it gave it more of a 3D look. And that's totally his freedom. I like mine a lot more. I also try to find, I'm sure I'll be able to get a link for a picture of us at Comic-Con, and you can see the end result of mine and his. I'm also, I don't know if I said this yet, I'm going to put in the link a couple of things he bought thinking they would be good. I absolutely hated pretty much every makeup thing he bought. I absolutely hated them. Like, one of them was like, there's a molding gel thing she got to kind of give us a base to hopefully make it more of a latex look, and it basically was like putting glue all over your face, and what it did was really nothing, and then so it really didn't improve any kind of look, and it made taking this off, well, you could argue that it may have made it easier, because it was like when you put glue on your hands, and you take off the glue, it's like a whole molding of your hand kind of thing. It was kind of like that. But I absolutely hated it. I wouldn't want to use it in my own shower, because like these pieces of like glue paper like things are coming off, and it just, for me, I was not a fan of that at all, and he wasn't either, especially because it just adds more time. And like I said, you're waking up early and you got a lot to do, especially in my case when you're in a hotel room and you got 4 people in the room. Everyone's got to take a shower and do their stuff before we leave. You don't really want to spend too much time doing that stuff. And so we actually, did we even use it the first day? I think he used it the first day and then never again. And I used it once when we practiced and never again. So I absolutely hated that. And also that was more money too. That was he was a little upset I think he probably spent, because it was like two little containers you had to like combine, but once you combine them, then you've got like a couple minutes or 10 minutes or so before it gets too hard or something. It was like two different kind of chemicals, and I think each one was like $10 or so. So he spent, basically he wasted $20 there. Um, so yeah, and I'll put that in the link. What I did not like, but I mean, so I've done this a little bit fast, and I would definitely recommend, pay attention to detail. I'm not really paying attention to detail today, but when you do the cosplay, what I would recommend is if you have like pieces, if you have some white there between, I'd take a little paintbrush, very lightly. Again, don't use much water, just very lightly. Go ahead, fill in the gaps. Spread it out. Make sure you don't see like a strong white spot anywhere where you touched up, because you don't want too much paint in one area. Again, I would never recommend having something like that. I would erase and then retry. It's that simple. With the eyes, so this was a rough sketch. I would have definitely touched up more, but whatever. And then what I do with lips, I'm okay with having this much skin showing. You might want to add some more paint. I'm probably would have added a little bit more paint if I were actually doing a con, just around the lips more. But like I said, I'm gonna find that lipstick. I'll put that in the description too. It was like the exact same shade. So I just would smother this around. Again, I don't know lipstick either, so I don't know how to do that professionally or anything. I just kind of like rub it back. And then so that worked well. When you drink things, use a straw or something, because that did definitely wipe away the lipstick. We both had to be very careful about that after day one, because at the end of day one, our lips were showing like red, pinkish red, and so we didn't like that. So we needed to use straws for the rest of the trip, which was not an issue. It's just something you need to pay attention to. But here we go. And so here's my cosplay as well. I'll post links. I got everything off Amazon. But yeah, we got that. And I'll make sure to post a link to show off more of my cosplay. I've got an awesome hat, which I'll explain. Actually, let me go grab that, because I'll explain how I did that. So some final touches. Also, I like to have some small details. So I was also handing out Joy. We ran into one other couple that were cosplaying We Happy Few. They were not the police. They were just like just wellies walking around, just casual clothing. They had white Tic Tacs for Joy. That was excellent. I didn't really think about that, but the reason I didn't think about that is because I wanted to really put detail into what I was doing. And so, while playing the game, you see, open the newspaper, it says coconut flavor of Joy coming soon. So I went out and again, didn't go out, Amazon, like a $10 bag of jelly beans, a 1 pound bag of jelly beans of coconut flavor. And so that's a small detail. I can't imagine a single person caught on to that detail of what I did, but it's something I wanted to do. But here's my hat, which I'm very proud of. And the hat is the reason, the hat on these guys is what really drew me into wanting to cosplay these guys. So this is like an $8 British police officer hat costume thing. It's, hard plastic. It's a bit snug on the head, but it came with this strap, which I didn't even know in the picture it came with this. But I was very happy because this was needed. So if you get one without it, I'm going to say you're going to need to get some glue and Velcro this, or get some elastic, because you're going to need a strap. But it's a bit snug on the head, and my head was really sweaty at the end of every day. Like, it was like rainforest in there. It was crazy. Like, there was so much condensation on the inside of the helmet, but whatever. It wasn't a big deal. But so here's my thing. All I did, I bought the hat, and then I had some like cement glue, and then I got little touch lights. So right there, you see that, and I literally just glued that on, and that worked phenomenally. It has never fallen off, and all days, and I absolutely loved it. So that's what I did for my hat. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please comment. You know, I'm not like a famous person, so I actually will see if someone comments and says something, and I'll be able to respond. All right, have a good day.